Venus shouldn't exist the way it does. Every other planet in our solar system spins in the same direction, the leftover momentum of the cloud that birthed the sun. They all inherited the same cosmic twist, all of them except one. Because if you could stand on the surface of Venus and survive long enough to watch, you would see the sun rise in the west and set in the east, backwards, the wrong way. And for 60 years, nobody has been able to fully explain why. Let that sink in. Venus is the planet right next door, the one we've sent dozens of probes to, the one we've mapped and measured and studied for decades. And it is doing something fundamentally, impossibly wrong. It rotates in reverse. Astronomers have a polite word for it, retrograde rotation, but the polite word hides how disturbing the reality actually is. Here's what makes it even stranger. Venus doesn't just spin backwards. It spins almost unbelievably slowly. A single day on Venus, one full rotation, takes 243 Earth days. That is longer than its own year. Venus orbits the Sun in 225 days, which means on Venus, the day is literally longer than the year. Think about that. You could be born, and a full Venusian year could pass, and the planet still wouldn't have finished turning around once. Time itself feels broken on this world. So how does a planet end up spinning the wrong way? For decades, scientists had one go-to answer, and it's the kind of answer that sounds like science fiction. A collision. The idea was that early in the solar system's violent youth, something enormous, another protoplanet, a wandering body the size of a small world, slammed into Venus with such force that it flipped the entire planet over, or knocked its spin into reverse. One catastrophic impact, and Venus was never the same again. It's a dramatic story. And for a long time, it was the best one we had. But there's a problem with it. A collision that violent should have left other scars, debris, a moon, a wildly tilted orbit, evidence scattered across the inner solar system. And Venus doesn't have a moon. It doesn't have the chaotic leftovers you'd expect from a planet-flipping smash. The crime scene is too clean for the murder weapon we imagined. So newer research went looking for a quieter killer. And what they found might be even more unsettling, because it suggests Venus wasn't flipped by a single dramatic blow at all. It was strangled slowly, over billions of years, by its own atmosphere. Venus is wrapped in the thickest, heaviest atmosphere of any rocky planet in the solar system, a crushing blanket of carbon dioxide so dense it would flatten a human instantly and so hot it melts lead. And that monstrous atmosphere doesn't just sit there, it moves. It generates powerful, planet-wide tides in the air itself, driven by the sun's heat. The theory goes like this. Over immense stretches of time, the gravitational tug of the sun, combined with the friction and drag of that titanic atmosphere, acted like a brake. It slowly, patiently fought against Venus's original spin. It dragged the rotation down and down and down until the planet nearly stopped. And then, the models suggest, it kept going. The braking didn't just stop Venus. It tipped the balance and started nudging the planet the other way, backwards. A world brought to a halt and then quietly reversed, not in a single afternoon of cosmic violence, but across a span of time so vast our minds can barely hold it. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Both stories could be true. Some researchers now believe Venus may have been flipped almost completely upside down. Picture it, the planet didn't reverse its spin direction so much as it turned over entirely, rolling onto its head, so that what was once its north pole now points south. From that angle, a planet still spinning the original way would appear to us to be spinning backwards. Venus might not have changed its mind about which way to turn. Venus might be standing on its head. We still don't know for certain which explanation is right. We have one planet, one example, no way to rewind 4.5 billion years and watch it happen. Every probe we send into that hellish atmosphere gets crushed and silenced within hours. Venus guards its secret jealously, hidden beneath clouds of sulfuric acid, behind a surface hot enough to glow. But think about what this really means. The planet closest to us in size, the one we once called Earth's twin, took a completely different path. Something happened to Venus that did not happen to us. Some force reached out and turned an entire world around, and we are still arguing about what it was. The same solar system, the same starting material, the same sun, and yet one of these worlds went one way and the other went back. So if a planet right next door can be flipped, slowed, or quietly turned against the grain of everything around it, what makes us so sure it could never happen here?